Hey there, beautiful sister, and welcome back to the New Earth Women podcast. Today, I wanted to talk about the light and the dark, about positivity and negativity, about duality, the duality of the light and of the darkness. Also, because, during this time on the planet, we're moving through a lot of emotions. Some days we're okay, other days we may feel more negative and sad and, anxious and whatnot. And also, the goal often is to be in your higher self, right? We all want to be in our highest self. We all want to be in our divine feminine and embodying that divine feminine energy. If you don't know what I mean by that, I recorded an episode specifically on what that looks like, embodying the divine feminine, and I'll leave that down below as well if you would like to listen to that. But so the ultimate goal is to feel good and to feel happy in our higher self, the seat of our higher self, in alignment with our highest timeline, and that is what we want, right? That's the vision, and ultimately that leads us to happiness as well, feeling light and feeling so in flow with life force, with chi. But the thing is that we're actually not supposed to feel light all the time. And I think it's a noble goal to keep striving for that, and I definitely recommend that. And it's also what we do at New Earth Sisterhood. For example, in the membership, we strive to be in the seat of our highest self, to be on our highest timeline and highest vibration. At the same time, we have to be realistic and accept that, feeling more negative emotions is also a part of life. And sometimes being more in the darkness is also a part of life and a part of who we are. It's inside of us. Just like we have the masculine energy and the feminine energy inside all of us, we also have the darkness and the light within all of us. And I actually love this song by the artist Fia. I will also leave it down below. And her song is called All That You Are. And she talks about that, if you would only be light all the time, you would be walking around cut in half. And I think that's such a beautiful, metaphor for that, or analogy, because it's true. Like, the darkness is part of who we are. And if you would put that in a physical perspective, if we would only carry the light within us and not have any darkness and push all of our darkness and all the negative emotions away, we would just be walking around cut in half. And the reason that we are on this earth in the first place is to experience both the light and the dark. And, the term light workers can sometimes be not really deceiving in that sense, because we are light workers and we're here to work the light. And that's definitely the biggest purpose that we have. It's just that it doesn't mean that that when you're a light worker, you're not supposed to feel any darkness. I think that can be a misconception. And I think the term light workers comes mostly from the concept that we're here to spread the light and be the light, and also that we come from pure light. Like everyone on this planet, we all come from the light. We come straight from source, which is love itself, and that is pure lightness. And so when we come onto this earth, we're all individual expressions of the divine, and the divine wants to experience both the light and the dark, because it wants to learn and it wants to grow and it wants to expand, and that's what it's doing through each and every one of us. So when you look at it that way, it's actually part of our purpose to go through the struggles and to have periods of darkness. And usually in the periods of darkness, that's the times when we learn the most and expand and grow the most, and then we are able to even more appreciate the moments when everything feels more light and we're more in flow with life. And so all this to say is that when you're experiencing negative emotions or negative emotions or feelings come up, or just negativity or darkness in any way, shape, or form, when it comes up into your life, allow it in. Surrender, let go, and just let it in, and allow yourself to literally feel it all, just like the beautiful, oh, that's another song of Fia, actually, which I'll also link down below. I love her songs. And literally, yes, feel it all. Feel all that you are and all that you can be, and feeling all the emotions is such a big part of that. Especially during these times, it's so difficult to be light all the time, and to feel light, and to be positive, and to spread positivity all the time. And also, when it comes to the law of attraction and manifestation, a big misconception there is that, one of the steps to manifesting is being grateful, and being in your light, and being in a good place, because when you're in a more negative place, it becomes more difficult to manifest, and you start attracting more negative things into your life. And I know that when I first discovered spirituality, I started with the law of attraction and manifestation, and that concept scared me so much, because I thought, well, I can't feel depressed feelings, or depressed in general, or negative emotions, because then I will only attract negativity into my life and negative experiences. So I really have to focus on feeling positive feelings and emotions, to attract what I truly want. And on the basis of that, it's true. You attract what you feel, and if you feel negative things, you'll attract negative things. If you feel positive things, and gratitude, you'll attract more positivity and more of that into your life. But it's not so black and white either. And feeling those negative emotions is an essential part of life. And just because you feel negative and more lower vibrational energies and emotions and feelings doesn't mean that you'll immediately attract this wave of negativity into your life. In fact, it is more important than ever that we feel the negative emotions, the lower vibrational emotions, because when we don't, and when we just push them away, they will just build up and pile up inside of us, and eventually it can lead to disease. And I've read this incredibly interesting book that's called What Your Aches and Pains Are Telling You, and it basically talks about that when you have a certain pain in your body, or you suddenly bump your elbow against the table, or whenever you experience some sort of physical pain, it's always because there's something deeper lying beneath the surface, some sort of emotional pain. Maybe it's because you've been building up anger, or you've been building up frustration, or you've not been expressing your emotions. It could be so many different things, because for instance, because you're not letting go of a certain person, that can also be expressed in your body, or because you really want to do something but you feel like you can't, and that's often expressed in the shoulders. There's so many interesting things about that. And the book also says that when you're experiencing physical pain, it's always connected to something inside of you, some sort of feeling, emotion, something that's been building up. And it's usually also one of the last signals of the body of trying to communicate that with you. So that basically means that your intuition has been trying to tell you for a while that you should work with that, or do something about that, or let something go. But because you either weren't that connected to your intuition, or you ignored it, or you decided to push the negative emotions and feelings away, which led them to building up inside of you, that's when the body goes to their last sort of resort, and starts expressing that in physical pain. And so whenever you bump into something, or cut your finger, or whatever, it is never coincidental, and it is always done on purpose. So that's another important reason why you shouldn't push these feelings away. You should allow it to come in and experience it all, because that's another beautiful part of Fia's song, Of All That You Are. She sings, "We're here on this earth to experience it all, the messy and the beautiful." And I think that's such a beautiful line. I know it by heart because I listen to her songs all the time. And also specifically to that one, because it just reminds me as well that it's okay to feel the darkness. It's okay to sometimes feel a little bit down. And specifically during this last year, I think a lot of us have been dealing with that, have been dealing with more negative emotions and lower vibrational emotions and energies. And just be aware that it's okay. And eventually, through upkeeping your consistent spiritual practice, for example, which I really recommend, it's so much easier to then return back to the light and shine your light brighter than ever before. And as always, I like to coin my own membership, in which we aspire to help and support you in keeping a spiritual practice for yourself. So if you are interested to be part of a sisterhood where we do our practice together, come together in life circles, moon circles as well each month, then be sure to check out the link in my bio to the Patreon page. And I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I'd love to see you all again next week. Namaste. Hi there, sister. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you liked this one, we would really appreciate it if you could leave us a review or perhaps even share the episode on your social media, as it would help our sisterhood to expand and more awakened women to unite. Sending you an infinite amount of love, and until next time, namaste.